It feels like for many people and for many years, Adobe has felt like the go-to guys to get your software from when diving into the creative field. Their software, Creative Cloud, has an app for almost anything in any creative field and offers seamless integration between each apps. But in recent months, many are opting to switch out of Adobe for various reasons that are pretty justified. If you've ever wanted to, now is the perfect time to start that YouTube channel you've always wanted to start. And if you plan on running a successful channel, check out Tube Mastery in the top link in the description to unlock a greater understanding of how to successfully run a YouTube channel. Those of you who don't know, Adobe is a leading software company known for its creative and multimedia products, including Photoshop, Illustrator, and Premiere Pro. Founded in 1982, Adobe has played a crucial role in shaping digital design and content creation across various industries. In the past, Adobe offered its software products, such as Photoshop, through a one-time purchase model. This allowed users to pay a single upfront cost to use the software. Once you bought a product, you owned it outright and could use it indefinitely without worrying about reoccurring payments. You could buy a physical version of the software as well, boot it up and have no problem. It was a straightforward system where updates and new features were often bundled into major releases, and users could decide whether or not to upgrade. Adobe made a significant shift in its business model in 2013 when it transitioned from selling perpetual software licenses to a subscription-based model. Before this change, Adobe software products like Photoshop were sold as one-time purchases and bundled into the Creative Suite, which is why Adobe apps before 2013 have CS before the name, like CS6 Photoshop. However, Adobe recognized that by moving to a subscription model, they could generate a more consistent and predictable revenue stream. This new model, called Adobe Creative Cloud, offered customers access to a suite of software through monthly or annual payments, rather than requiring large upfront costs. Ultimately, the switch to subscriptions proved highly profitable for Adobe, and the toxic subscription terms trapped users and gave Adobe the room to boast about the low cancellation rates to investors. And almost every tech company these days uses the subscription model to make money, not just Adobe. It's spread into gaming, entertainment, and many other things. This is because subscriptions are often more profitable than one-time payments, because people tend to focus on the short-term costs rather than the long-term total. With this subscription, customers pay smaller amounts regularly, which feels more manageable in the moment. However, over time, these payments can add up to more than the upfront cost of a one-time purchase. Many people don't consider how much they'll spend in the future, so they end up paying more in the long run without realizing it. This steady stream of payments is much more beneficial to companies as it guarantees ongoing revenue. Companies also want to use a subscription model because they want to take away your ability to own the products that they're selling, because it allows them to regularly update or change the product, ensuring customers must stay subscribed to access the latest features or improvements. By removing ownership, companies can also reduce the likelihood of customers using outdated versions of the product, keeping them tied to the subscription for ongoing use. When signing up for Creative Cloud, you can choose between a monthly subscription or an annual plan billed monthly. The annual plan billed monthly is cheaper than the true monthly subscription, which might make it seem like it's a better deal for many users. However, there's a catch. If you choose the annual plan billed monthly and cancel after more than 14 days, you'll be charged a fee of 50%. of the remaining balance on your contract, which can add up to hundreds of dollars for some people. And this isn't something a lot of people realize when trying to sign up for these apps, as many people who unsubscribe surprisingly see that they have been charged hundreds of dollars to what they think came out of nowhere. And even when selecting the free trial and canceling it, some people can be charged out of nowhere. These things are becoming so dire that the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, is even suing Adobe because of how horrible the process to cancel its subscription is, and how many people still stay subscribed even if they don't want to, because it's cheaper to keep paying the subscription than cancel it. People often dislike Adobe for a variety of reasons, one of the biggest being its high prices. Adobe products can be extremely expensive, making it difficult for many creatives to justify the cost when there are other cheaper or even free alternatives available. This has led many to seek out other software options that offer similar functionality without the hefty price tag, leaving Adobe's expensive subscription model feeling like an unnecessary burden for users. Another major issue with Adobe apps is the frequent bugs and technical problems users encounter, such as scratch disks being full or apps booting up slowly, which just slows down workflow. The learning curve is another downside, as Adobe often complicates simple tasks, such as adding effects like motion blur in Premiere Pro. Instead of just dragging the effect from the effect box into your timeline, you have to use another contrived method of achieving motion blur. Stuff like that just makes it feel like they're going out of their way to make it more difficult than it needs to be. Adobe faced significant backlash due to changes in its Creative Cloud terms of service, which granted the company broad access to the user's content. These changes included clauses that allowed Adobe to access, view, and even use users' local files, which raised particular concerns for creators working under non-disclosure agreements, (NDAs), in industries like film and advertising, where protecting intellectual property is crucial. The major issue was that Adobe's terms gave non-exclusive worldwide royalty-free licensable license to use, reproduce, and display user-generated content. This meant that anything uploaded to Creative Cloud or stored locally could potentially be used to train Adobe's generative AI models, like Firefly, which was being integrated to programs such as Photoshop. Many users worried that the private, confidential, or proprietary work could be used without their permission, exposing sensitive content to risk. In response to the backlash, including a global boycott and artists intentionally uploading misleading content to harm the AI's learning, Adobe revised its terms of service. The updated terms clarified that they would no longer scan or analyze content locally on users' devices, would only train AI models on content submitted to Adobe Stock Marketplace. Even though it's good that Adobe revised its terms of service, the incident still left many creators and users feeling distrustful of Adobe's practices. Right now, the AI is only trained by content on the Adobe Stock Marketplace, which is once a highly regarded resource for high quality, professional, and curated creative assets. It has experienced a significant decline in value for many users. The platform is now flooded with low quality AI generated content, which often lacks originality, attention to detail, and craftsmanship. To add to the frustration, a license for some assets are still expensive, with a single photo license sometimes costing as much as $80. As a result, many users feel that Adobe Stock no longer provides the same level of quality or value it used to produce